Israel on Wednesday began heavy airstrikes on the historic city of Baalbek in Lebanon, as U.S. mediators work on a proposal to halt hostilities between Israel and Lebanese armed group Hezbollah. That's according to two sources who spoke to Reuters that say it would start with a 60-day ceasefire.
We support their right to go after legitimate Hezbollah targets, but in doing so, it is critical that they do so in a way that does not threaten the lives of civilians.
Later on Wednesday, State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller commented on Israel's latest actions.
We have made clear that the campaign they're conducting in Lebanon should not, cannot, must not look like the campaign that they have conducted in Gaza. We do ultimately want to see a ceasefire, and we want to see a diplomatic resolution that allows civilians both in Lebanon and Israel return to their homes.
The sources Reuters spoke to also say a possible 2-month ceasefire period would be used to finalize full implementation of UN Security Council Resolution 1701. It was adopted to try and end an earlier 2006 war between Israel and Hezbollah, and to help keep southern Lebanon free of weapons or forces outside control of Lebanon's government. However, it was never fully enforced and has sparked friction with Hezbollah as the group effectively controls that area. Lebanon's prime minister expressed hope that a ceasefire deal with Israel would be announced within days, as Israel's public broadcaster published what it said was a draft agreement of a truce. The effort comes as Naim Qassem, Hezbollah's new leader, said in his first speech that the Iran-backed group would agree to a ceasefire within certain parameters if Israel wanted to stop the war, but added that Israel had so far not agreed to any proposal that could be discussed. The latest ceasefire efforts come as Israel's operation against Hezbollah in Lebanon continues to expand. It also comes days before the U.S. presidential election, and in parallel with a similar diplomatic drive on Gaza.
North Korea said it tested its most powerful ever intercontinental ballistic missile, or ICBM, on Thursday. State media KCNA reported that leader Kim Jong-un was on hand for the launch, which he was quoted as saying was a, quote, appropriate military action intended to demonstrate the North's, quote, counteraction will to its rivals. The test drew swift condemnation from the United States, Japan, and South Korea. Shin Seung-ki, head of research on North Korea's military at the Korea Institute for Defense Analyses, said the launch was likely to test an improved version of an existing ICBM, possibly developed with help from Russia. He said the move could also be an attempt to influence the U.S. presidential election, now less than a week away. Seoul said the early Thursday launch was the longest ballistic missile test yet by the North, with a flight time of 87 minutes. The missile took off on a sharply lofted trajectory and splashed down about 125 miles off an island in northern Japan. The Japanese government said it reached an altitude of roughly 4,300 miles and flew just over 620 miles. That distance puts anywhere in the mainland United States within range. Pyongyang's latest test comes after what the U.S. and others say is the North's deployment of 11,000 troops to Russia, with 3,000 of them close to the front lines with Ukraine. Seoul warned after the test that Pyongyang could receive missile technology from Russia as a reward for their help in the war. Neither Moscow or Pyongyang have directly acknowledged the deployment.
Scores of people have been killed in some of Spain's worst floods in recent history. Meteorologists say a year's worth of rain had fallen in 8 hours in parts of the eastern region of Valencia Tuesday. Authorities plan for more rescue operations on Thursday, and the death toll is expected to rise. In Utiel, locals combed through the mud and debris, cleaning up what's left of their livelihoods. 60-year-old teacher Encarna got emotional as she spoke about the pain she felt for all those who lost their lives in the flooding. Another Utiel resident, grocer Amadeo Ibanez, said he felt powerless as the river rose in half an hour, and he lost almost everything in that time. Many of Valencia's farmlands were submerged. The region is a key citrus producer in the country, accounting for almost 2/3 of the citrus fruit grown in Spain, a leading global exporter. One of Spain's largest farmer groups on Tuesday said it expected significant damage to crops. Roads were closed and rail services to Madrid and Barcelona were halted due to the rain. In a televised address, Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez promised to rebuild infrastructure that was destroyed. Scientists say extreme weather events are becoming more frequent due to climate change. Meteorologists think the warming of the Mediterranean, which increases water evaporation, is key to causing more severe rains.
حاول نرميها تمام بنفعش نشعل فيها النار بنفعش نترك عليها بالحجارة أولا فيها نار لا أرميها بالحجارة.
And there is a high risk of unexploded ammunition or ordnances that pose serious risks of killing and seriously injure the civilians, particularly children who are the most vulnerable, who play among the rubble, how they would look like, what are their shapes or colors, and how to deal with them, not to approach them, not to kick them, not to touch them, and to just inform any adult they can find to report on this incident. This could be life-saving, and this is a shared responsibility of parties to the conflict also to limit the exposure of this risk.